morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, where today we've been casting games from the Acer Team Story Cup. It is, of course, a continuation of the Complexity vs Millenium series. The bottom left-hand corner is our red Terran player, often introduced in this series. It is Complexity's TheSC. The bottom right-hand corner of Whirlwind as our blue Protoss player is once more Millenium's Adel Scott. And so we have Team Millenium using their revive, hoping that Adel's done it once for them. Perhaps he can do it again and knock out the terror that is the STC. So once again, it is a TVP matchup. This time, of course, different map. It is Whirlwind, and this map, a great map for a lot of reasons, one of which is the sheer size of it. You'll frequently get long macro games on this map, quite easy for most players to secure at least 2 to 3 bases, and in late game can secure as many as 5 or 6 fairly confidently. Also, you do often get funny things like certain players, particularly Protoss, proxying a base in a random location, which always makes for a fun and interesting dynamic to the game. But so far, fairly standard starts out of both our players. STC actually seems to be going straight for an early expansion. So he's hovering quite a lot of resources now, up to 300. I imagine we'll see him throw down the command center straight away on the low ground. Adel Scott going for the opposite sort of approach, deciding he's going to throw down his gateway and his assimilator first. Also throwing a pylon up here. Interesting to see if that's to pick up drops or whether that's just going to be to hide some tech. And yes, indeed, we have the command center going down now on the low ground, and barracks being thrown up. So STC going for quite the economic start, as opposed to Adel Scott, who will likely see some sort of balanced one base aggression out of. And we'll see if he can manage to break through. If he's not careful, though, he could find the STC is in an overwhelming income advantage before too long. So hopefully Adel Scott will be able to scout this fairly soon. It is quite dangerous to scout this late on this map. Adel Scott quite famous for scouting late. It is fairly on time. Most Protoss players will scout around the time their cybernetic score finishes, and indeed we do see that's the case. Adel Scott going to send out his scout now. STC throwing up his orbital command, one in the main, and we'll see that one coming up at the natural momentarily. Second barracks on the way. Already have some Marines being rallied to the bunker that's under construction, and we'll have STC scouting out now as well. They have a Stalker being chrono boosted out, and I imagine we'll see the mothership core before too long. Worker now coming out. Ooh, looks like we may actually see some tech. It is actually going to be a Stargate now. The proxy, well, not a proxy, but an Oracle would be quite good at this point. As you can see, not a whole lot in the way of defensive units. We have a single Marine, but a single Marine's not going to be enough to be able to prevent an Oracle from wreaking havoc. You'll have 2 mineral lines worth of workers to defend, and most of these Marines will actually be in the bunker trying to defend the front of the base. So Adel Scott looks like he's setting himself up to put on a good deal of pressure, though he does need a few more gateways if he's going to hope for the for enough aggression to break through what could be a fairly sizable defence. Do have a third barracks coming straight up now, so there's quite a lot of production capacity on the way for the STC. Now producing 3 Marines at a time. By the time this Oracle finishes up, there'll probably be about 8 or 9 Marines, so it will be much easier for the STC to defend. And I think Adel Scott may actually find himself at a bit of a disadvantage. He may have to try and macro up and go for the long haul, as he certainly won't be able to break through a door that'll be as heavily defended as this potentially could be. In STC, he's starting to rally six of his workers at his top base, another 2 to the bunker, and in another cycle or so he'll have 3 or 4 more Marines to be able to comfortably defend his natural expansion as well. Still mining mostly out of his top base, as society doesn't want to expose the too many minerals to this worker line just at the moment. We have the Oracle moving in now, but 6 Marines here. Oh, looks like Adel wasn't controlling for a moment there, unable to actually get any kills before the Marines force him. I did half half health on one marine and half health on one. Oh, and those marines pick it straight off. So TSC able to defend that one quite brilliantly. Obviously, Adel has been suffering from a bit of lag there. You can see him chatting in the middle of the screen. So obviously a bit upset about how much the lag's affecting his Oracle micro. But if he's not able to do a bit more damage with this Oracle, it will put him substantially on the back foot. We have a few more gateways coming up for Adel, but currently it's 3 production facilities and a factory against just the one gateway and the Stargate. So more gateways going down now. Is 6 gates. So Adel going to try and follow this up with a substantial amount of gateway aggression. Still have 2 oracles in play. I actually have a 3rd one coming up. So there's quite a lot of oracles, but this missile turret's now finishing up, and that is going to allow the oracle to be picked off straight away. This engineering bay going to be researching the +1 weapons. This oracle starting to rack up a few kills. That was 10 kills on this oracle, so nice little bit of damage there. But if we check out the income tab, we can see that Adel's actually been chrono boosting harvesters quite consistently. So combined with the oracle damage, it looks like Adel has got himself into the desired position, able to kill off a few workers and bring himself to a fairly even income or mining situation. Able to pick off a few more using the oracle's newer speed to sort of kite a little bit whilst picking off those units. These gateways not warp gates as of yet, but warp gate just a few seconds from finish up, 5 or 6 seconds, and we'll have 6 warp gates up and ready to go. Another one almost completed at the front gate, so we will be seeing 7 gate aggression backed by these 2 oracles, and it is going to be a substantial amount of pressure, but with 3 bunkers and the amount of marauders we can see in play already, it's going to be quite difficult for Adel to force his way through this, but he's going to give it a shot. If he can just pick off a few of these SCVs and without committing too heavily, he could well put himself into a good position. You can see all the mining that's not taking place currently. We could see Adel actually getting into quite a decent position here. So if he can pick off these SCVs and disengage without losing too many units, he's going to bite the bullet and go for it. Expect to see some force fields thrown down to prevent this repairing. There's one down there, a second one there, trying to break through this central bunker, but these marauders just doing so much damage. Even pushing out there, being able to pick off some of these units would be nice, but the marauders doing a lot of damage here in this engagement. A lot of marines just going to stim and run down the ramp. These stalkers and zealot are going to be forced to fall back, but big stim and 4 medevacs just making this army so cost effective. We have 5 gateway units trying to hold off this push of bio forces, and as you can see, no production actually on the way from Adel. Being forced to warp in just pure zealots and sentries, certainly not an ideal situation to be in. And we can actually see that Adel skipped his mothership core, which is going to leave him quite vulnerable to this incoming counterattack, particularly because of TSC's ability to pick up part of this force and drop if need be. So TSC are unaware of that 3rd base going down, but this Protoss force is pure gateway units against stimmed up bio. Still only 1-0 bio, but is going to be quite difficult to pick off all that bio with unupgraded gateway units. So TSC just continuing to stim and push up the ramp, pushing back these stalkers. More zealots being warped in, but unfortunately most of them dying before they can make up the ramp. Probes being pulled off the line, but it is going to be too much for Adel here. The stimmed bio just doing so much damage. That's what I meant by attack and then pull back before you engage too heavily at the gateway. At the gate of the Terran base, as you can see, it was quite heavily defended with a lot of marauders sitting there on the high ground, just able to pluck away at the force. If he'd used the range and the vision to be able to pick off some of those SCVs at the front without losing too much of his force, he could have safely pulled back and teched up, but unfortunately did commit for quite a while to try and take down that front bunker, and unfortunately it was caught most of his army destroyed, and he was very vulnerable to the counterattack. So there's a few things that Adel could have added to make it a bit more successful in attack. One is mothership core. For the vision, there was no vision of the high ground. 2, that mothership core would have performed a pretty vital role in the defense at the natural that just took place. And 3, if you're going to commit and go for it, throw down the force fields to prevent the repair straight away. Adel waited quite a while to throw them down. The STC was able to keep the middle bunker up. I still don't think he would have quite made it through, but waiting to throw down the force field certainly didn't help the situation any. So great game out of the STC. It has managed to all kill Team Millenium, albeit using a revive, so managed to make his way through and grab 5 wins, so that will be great for complexity, win them this series. Millenium unfortunately going to drop this series, but still situated fairly well in the runnings overall. If you're curious as to what the current standings are, please jump on the Acer Team Story Cup website. You'll see all the standings there, as well as the breakdown of matches and different things like that. So hope you guys have enjoyed this series. Really looking forward to, I believe we're moving into the semi-finals shortly, so once we see all these large tournaments going on, I imagine the Team Story Cup will resume. But currently we've had a heck of a lot going on, things like Battlegrounds, IEM, DreamHack, just a stack of major tournaments running around the world at the moment. So upon their conclusion, I imagine we'll see a return to the Team Story Cup. Meanwhile, if I can get my hands on some of those replay packs, we'll cast some of the great games from those tournaments. Seen some fantastic games over the last couple of days. If you've missed those, you really are missing out. We'll try and get some on the channel for you. Hope you guys are enjoying the cast. By all means, if you haven't subscribed as of yet, please do. We really appreciate your support. Thanks guys, and we'll catch you. There's Aussie Starcraft. We'll catch you in the next cast.